of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
Good evening. Welcome to an A.H.A.D moment, the calm before the storm. I'm your regular co-host today, Fakir Abdulaziz, filling in for our regular host, A.H.A.D. But still with me are our esteemed guests, our esteemed panel, the regular panel, Lord Holy-Apostle Deen Saleem and Holy Queen Mother Rabia. Saleem,
may I use this peace and blessing you?
may I use this peace and other bless me within about your presence and as well to the our believing audience out there. Today we're going to talk about another provocative title, another provocative subject, something that we've always known to give our television audience out there. And that title is a title that came to me, it came to my attention, and I want to have some inquiry about it, if I can, to ask about it. And that is looking at Islam. Looking at Islam from inside out. Looking at Islam from inside out. I do want to pose a question to you, Lord.
Go ahead.
If I may, before that, now, when that subject first came to me, in any thoughts that I gave to it, I'm thinking, well, generally if somebody looks at Islam or any other religion, they generally look at how religion, everything from the way the mosque looks, the way the prayers sound, the way the people dress, even in the case of other religions, how Catholics look or whoever, whatever. But in the case of Islam, I see where most of the world would see a religion from an outside view, from a very surface view. You know, how even up to how people might behave or speak there or whatever. So clearly I'm searching and I'm very curious and I'm looking for what is the notion of seeing Islam from inside out. You know.
Okay. First of all, man, I use this piece of blessing. When people look at the religion of Islam, and it's not just the religion of Islam, I would propose that it's all the religions, but you know, we're dealing with Islam. But in my thinking, I'm thinking in terms of all the religions, because all religions from the root is Islam. So named Islam, universal religion of truth. One of the things I see is that even with the people standing on the outside looking in, the people inside the religion is on the outside looking in. And that's one of the problems with the outer aspect of the religion, the practice of it. What people are instructed to do, which most people is not aware of, is that they are instructed to practice going inside to look from the inside out. That's why when we're instructed to find our way to Allah, we're always told to go where? Inside. You see, they say the throne of Ahezaah is inside in the heart. And so prepare your heart, purify your heart, so the Lord can sit upon the throne of your being, its throne, in your being. You see, so as long as the practitioners of the religions stand inside the building, looking from the outside of themselves in, they can't see, because all they can see is the forms. And you know, take for instance having X-ray vision. You can see through the being, you know, and that's not for us as human beings, you know. If we're going to look from the inside, from the outside in, then we're just going to see the forms, and those of the practitioners are going to be maybe a little closer to the goal, but still nevertheless lost, like those who stand on the outside just looking, at those who are inside the buildings, And you could take it even a little further, standing on the outside of your prayers, your invocations, trying to look inside instead of going inside your prayers, inside your invocations, speaking to the Lord within and looking out at your life.
Yeah, Lord, you said speaking. Yeah, just a question that occurred to me, like when you're talking about invoking your prayers, I'm thinking listening to your prayers, paying attention, actually listening. But when you said speaking to your Lord, that struck me. Yeah, and Holy Queen, you even mentioned it in a previous show, how you're supposed to actually speak to Ahezaah personally. You're looking to literally communicate. You're communicating, and that's the insight.
Right. I think what the structure of the way of life has been set up is, to me personally, is somewhat set up to take you away more so than to bring you in to Ahezaah. See, everybody think Ahezaah, let's just go back to being a child and everything, or taken from the Christian teaching, they had people looking up to the sky for Ahezaah. Not looking at Ahezaah saying, Ka'ana, Ahezaah is closer to you than your own juggler vein. You know what I'm saying? So everything they have set as a foundation has always taken you out, away from Ahezaah, where it has become where Ahezaah is less likely to be believed by an individual, more so than believed. You understand? And I think, what people have to realize, that Ahezaah said that to know it, you have to know yourself. Okay? So that means if you're trying to know yourself, you're not going to look for yourself out here. In the world, you're going to look for yourself within yourself. You have to listen to yourself. You have to dissect yourself. You understand what I'm saying? You're not going to dissect the fact that you may get up at 5 o'clock and make prayer. You understand what I'm saying? You will dissect yourself. Well, I'm going to force myself to get up at 5 o'clock to make prayer. You understand what I'm saying? People don't understand the preparation to prayer is just as deep as getting on the prayer carpet. And then when you get on the prayer carpet, what are you saying when you're on that prayer carpet? You understand what I'm saying? But they make it important that you get to the prayer carpet. Anybody can get to the prayer carpet. You have people that diligently make their prayer 5 times a day. Do they really pray? And just a second. So you understand what I'm saying? So all that has been set down as a foundation and religion has taken us away from Ahezaah. So Ahezaah is now telling us, come back. Come this way. Don't go that way, come back this way. Because Ahezaah is within everyone. Just like that devil exists within us, Ahezaah exists on that throne within us. But we have to understand the throne. We have to understand how to seek Ahezaah. And the first thing we have to do is that we have to go back. We have to break the practices of asking, forgiving. You understand what I'm saying? Everything that the messengers said, now we have to take and examine that for what it meant, not what man interpreted it to be or how it uses that to get over, because that's what it has become. They take what the messenger prophets had said of old and they misinterpret it to benefit them in the land. So we have to look at all this that has been interpreted as being forced or against Ahezaah and take it and reinterpret it to benefit us, to get to Ahezaah. Go ahead.
I lost my point because, I have a short memory span, but just let me just say this here. One of the things in the beginning, I made sure I held on to this, is that the religion, life itself, is set up most beautifully by Ahezaah. The whole scheme of life, the whole example of life is set up in the manner of looking from the inside out, submission to Ahezaah, the Lord El. Is perfect. But like what you was talking about, man has went off base from that foundation and created its own. Man devised their own foundation, what people always do. always, you can give them the religion of Islam, just like, you know, Moses gave them the religion of Islam and Jesus gave them the religion of Islam, and look at the things that they created. The Hindus had Islam, the Buddhists, the Taoists, all of them had Islam. And they have all broken off from it, and put another foundation there to say this is good, because they're not satisfied with what the Lord El has created as an example for them, has given them the mind to see, you know, its example. The same with the constitutional laws of these United States of America, broken off from Islam, and then set aside and said, this is good, you know, when it's so much injustice is being manifested from that Constitution, you know, and injustice written right in the Constitution. But we who understand the letters of the law know that they got it from the divine Lord, you know. So it's not so much that the religion, the example is not right. It's that man has ignored, turned away from that example, and they always create their own way of life to try to, how can I say it, compete with the way that the Lord Most High has sent down.
It's interesting. It strikes me how what you said, Lord, kind of compares with what the Holy Queen Mother says about how instruments are made to put man out and away from.
Yeah, I've said the same thing she said.
And I'm just reflecting on the Constitution and how that Constitution has been set up. And now there are people that have even gone away from the way their religions were formed originally to send them out, to being sent even further out, going to a Constitution, you know.
Yeah.
And there are many people that worship this Constitution like it's an unfailing document.
And let me just give an example so people could really try to magnify what we're saying. Let's take this. Ahezaah tell us to praise and worship it, right? Now, the Christian has taken a lady throwing her legs up in the air with a beautiful scarf and beautiful skirt and twirling around and bending all over and everything. They call that praise and worship dance. Where is the connection between that dance of seduction have anything to do with praising and worshiping Ahezaah? You understand? Wait, one more second. You understand what I'm saying? See, it looks subtle. You understand what I'm saying? Praise and worship, they have taken out and made it and formulated it to be something else. Now, another example. Now that went from the Christian book. Now let's take from Islam. Allah said that a man can have more than one wife. From the beginning of time, the prophets of old and men of old had more than one wife. And this society said was because of the conditions. That's what they said. They said it was war condition. Whatever it was, Ahezaah put that clearly in Quran. Allah said, would you take part of the book and throw the rest away? Now, the Muslim has taken it. The man has taken himself to the lowest part of his desire and have lusted for more than one wife and have more than one wife as a trophy. The sisters in turn have taken it as to be an evil thing, to be hated, that Allah said in Quran. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. How we go out instead of within, because if we have started within, then we can manifest that which needs to send down in the correct manner. But we have gone on the outer side of what we're supposed to be and have just divides things to make religion fall short on the ears and the hearts and minds of people.
Well, let me just say this. There's a flip side to the sisters saying that it's a bad thing. You got a flip side where the sisters, many of them don't see the righteousness in it, and they don't look for the righteousness in it. They see it as a hoedown. You know, I like this man's strong. I want to get into the bed with him. I could have him because, you know, we could have more wives. You know, a man could have more than one wife. So on the flip side, it's either they see it as a hateful thing or they see it as a lustful thing. That goes right into, we talking about here in America, because I can't speak for the people in other countries, other nations. But then we go right to the praise and worship dance. I beg to differ. You said it's subtle. No, it's not subtle. it may be subtle for those who are blind.
Right, that's what I'm saying about the subject.
Those who are blind that cannot see that it's wrong, but it's an outright disgrace and affront against the Lord Most High that they're involved in this praise and worship dance type thing. You take them and put them in the Mardi Gras and they fit right in. Now look what Allah has done, Ahezaah has done to the people of the Mardi Gras. Has turned the ocean on them. You feel me? Now, like we've spoke on it before that you can look at animals, man, and learn that dance is a prelude to sex, intercourse. And the same thing for humanity. That's why you got the prostitutes and the whores who know this. They do so much dancing for men. Even when they walk down the street, they walk with a swinging gait like a dance to attract men. What do women do when they want to attract men? They start moving their body in a rhythm to attract the man. So it's really an outright affront against the Lord Most High. But see, from the Christians and the Muslims of these United States of America, not looking from within, then they're not going to see themselves. They're going to see all that's outside, don't know about the disturbance inside, and they're going to accept it because they're going by great numbers. If you stay on the outside, looking out from outside within, you're going to always look at the great numbers. That's how people are influenced. I could sit up and talk to people and tell them the outright truth, and they could hear me and they can agree with me. But when they see these great numbers of people that don't agree with me, then they say, I hear what you're saying, but I got to go with them because they're the most. When they're not the most. Because see, what you'll learn, one of the first things you'll learn from the Lord Most High, once you come into the knowing of it, is that one is the greatest number. And it is the one. But you won't know that it is within all those other people if you can't see it inside yourself. How can you relate? In order for you to relate to the world, to the universes, and know your connection with them, you have to go within. Because when you look out from without, all you see is items, separate items. This is why people have taken the attributes of the one, that which the Lord attributes to life in every form and fashion. It attributes itself. It has attributes. Innumerable. You can't count the attributes of Ahezaah. Okay? Because its attributes are its acts. What it bring about to creations. Those are attributes. It attribute life. It attribute act. Attribute power. Those are attributes. Okay. When people look at that, they see the sun. They see the rain. They see fire. They see the earth. They say the God of this, the God of that, and they start giving it different names, but associating it as separate individuals. When if you go within and you learn from within, just like inside yourself, there's so many breakups, so many parts, so many units of your being that's still one, controlled by one brain. You see? One mind. And that's the way it is with the complete universe. The complete universes of all universes are controlled by one mind. And that's the mind of El. And you can't see that from looking outside because it's too much to look at.
As a sign, the sign of, it's like we're saying, looking at those individual entities in the universe, we can see the signs of the real of El. The analogy of the one is a beautiful analogy. It strikes me in that we're talking about one being the most powerful number, being inclusive of every single number.
One and the same.
One is within. It's one and the same.
Mm-hmm.
So the reality of Ahezaah Ahezaah in the creation that it is set forth, the order that is set forth, Ahezaah is the one, and that one is of that creation.
Yes.
Which is inclusive of each individual,
Yes.
inclusive of the person. So where do you look? I mean, where's the best place to look? You said, where's the most reasonable place for this particular individual or that particular individual to look within themselves, as opposed to a place that they have no.
Ahezaah chose, the Lord Amen chose for us to go with him. And it said, Jesus said that, you know, the light of truth, the Christ light, the Christ will set you free. Okay? Now, people look at Jesus as one thing, and they look at Moses as another thing. When Moses brought the laws that Jesus lived by. Jesus didn't come and create new laws. Therefore, Jesus, in his words, was not greater than Moses. Now, people might say, well, Jesus manifested greater than Moses. Well, Moses had his miracles. Jesus had his miracles. But let's look at what connected them. The Christ connected them. Most people don't see the Christ being connected with Moses. You see, because most people look from outside in instead of inside out. Jesus went in, he seen the light of Christ. Moses had yet to look in that light. And
Such.
And but the light of Christ manifested itself outward to Moses in the form of that burning bush, that non-disintegrating bush that had that fire and light all over it, pure, and spoke to Moses, just like the Christ spoke to Jesus inside, the Christ spoke to Moses outside. The same Christ. But how many people look at that? What they look at from the outside is, how did that bush not burn? Excuse me. Mary? Look, Stom, I'm doing a show. Y'all knew I was going to do a show. I'm right on the show. Okay.
We'll be seeing her on Channel 19.
That's all right. You know, life is life. I'm not going to cut the phone off because it might be something important. But you feel where I'm coming from?
Ahezaah manifests itself
in whatever way it wants.
Yes.
But when Moses seen the light of Christ, he became astonished. His hair turned white. I don't know what happened to Jesus when Jesus seen the light of Christ, but I know what happened to me when I seen the light of Christ. And in my view, it was so overwhelming that the particles of my being, the essence of my mind and my being just dissipated, broke up. And had not it been for the Lord El holding me together and gathering me back up, I would not have made it back to this physical body in the right frame of mind, or if I made it back. You see? So I can only speak for myself. But we have most people who look from the outside in. They're the hypocrites of religion. They're the deceit artists. They're the ones who live that double life. Oh, I am this, but no, they're not. You see, they're the ones who hide from men and do their evil right in front of Ahezaah and don't realize that if you're going to hide from someone, Ahezaah's the one to hide from. But they think that man is the one to hide from so they could go on in comfort and do their evil when the judge and the ruler is marking down You know what they doing is so they receive their reward.
It's sort of like, man, they believing in themselves. Like Holy Queen Mother, like it was said earlier in the show, they go out there and they create their own religions, their own foundations and stuff like that. And then they, in turn, because they're putting them on, they start believing in them. You know, they like pushing them.
Well, that's because
People
don't understand that Ahezaah is so real, and that the devil is real. Ahezaah allows the devil to exist. Ahezaah said to the Muslim in the Holy Quran, just because you say you believe do not mean you will not be tried. But how many people, they think that once they take their Shahada or get baptized in water or whatever, they think that it's all gravy now. But that's not it. That's outward.
That's because they think they have reached. They think they've reached the goal.
And they set that foundation for you to start thinking that you have arrived. But what happens is we stop. Ahezaah always, Holy Apostle always have told us since I can remember, try Allah. And some people may look at that as a bad thing. How you going to try the Lord Most High? Well, Allah said try it. So that you may believe in it, try it. If you don't try it, then how you know you're going to like it? If you ain't never tasted string beans before, how you know you like string beans or dislike string beans? So Allah say try it, right? But we don't want to put that on ourselves because it's beneficial. We believe it's beneficial for us to follow the way of the devil. I proposed a question to somebody the other day, and I did not propose the question to offend. I proposed a question to give them something to think about later. I said, okay, you believe that Jesus died for our sins. So why is it a heaven and hell? If Jesus died for our sins, we all going to heaven because sin shouldn't even exist in the vocabulary. There's no such thing as sin. Why is it prisons? If Jesus died for our sin, whatever these people do that you got them locked up for, they should be free because there's no such thing as sin. I mean, come on, people. Ask yourself that one simple question. Try Allah on that. Ask it. And see, can you really come up with a good answer? If Jesus died for our sin, there's nothing we can do as human beings wrong. Nothing. If what they saying is true.
Yeah.
But see how it's so contradictory? Because that's not the truth. Jesus didn't say that. Jesus didn't die for their sins. You understand? But nobody wants to deal with truth. So that means they don't want to connect to Ahezaah. They want to stay comfortable with the devil. Because there's benefit in saying Jesus died for our sins. Because those who won't go as far as killing someone just to take their money so they can live better can excuse the wrong that they do.
You want to do things right. To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you